What is going on YouTube? This is your boy Banister of Evil Soul here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for you. This is my second place at Southern Games, Morphet Vale. You cannot play period Yu-Gi-Oh deck. If you guys like this video, please smash that like button, comment down below, and of course, subscribe for more. And on that note, boys, let's get cracking. So for the first up, we're going to start off with the traps. Allow me to put the phone down. First up, we have 1, Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike's just a generic negate summon. Solemn Warning, we have 1 of as well. That's another generic negate summon. Chaos Trap Hole, we also have at 1, which is another negate summon. And Solemn Judgment, thank hell, Konami, thank you very much for putting this card back at 1. This is by far my favorite negate summon card. By far, this card is absolutely amazing. It negates any effect activated. Wait one, guys. Just sorting out my traps. Give me a minute here. Alright. As I was starting off with the counter traps real quick, we have three copies of Divine Punishment. This card is absolutely a powerful card. When the Sanctuary in the Sky, hang on, let the camera focus. When the Sanctuary in the Sky is faced on the field, when your opponent activates a monster spell or trap effect, that's when this card comes into play. Just flip this card over, negate the activation, and destroy that card. Next we have not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of Drastic Drop-Off. This card stops your opponent's draw phase completely. They don't even get a draw phase. That's how broken this card is. This card is, beg your pardon. The next card in the deck, we have 3 copies of Ultimate Providence. Ultimate Providence, obviously, is another generic negate card. 3 copies here. If you have Guiding Ariadne in the Pendulum Zone to either your left or your right, this card becomes really this card's cost becomes really relevant. But if you don't have that and you're not and your opponent activates a card effect and you're willing to discard a card, you just have to discard 1 card, monster spell or trap, negate the activation, and destroy that card. 3 copies of Rebirth of Parshath. Rebirth of Parshath is absolutely incredible card. In my opinion, this card is just plain broken. You can bring out a Parshath monster from either your extra deck or your main deck using this card's end effect. If you do, you can special summon a Parshath monster from your main deck or your extra deck. And that is it for the trap cards, everybody. Straight on through to the spell cards. For the field spell, we're playing only 1, the Sanctuary in the Sky. The Sanctuary in the Sky is absolutely incredible. It drops all damage you take involving a fairy type monster to 0, which is awesome. If I can find it real quick. Here's a card I love the most. 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. Let the camera focus. There we go. 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren. You may have to give up 2,000 of your life points because this is not a counter trap card. It's a special summon 2 or more fairy type monsters from your deck with different names, but they have to be the same level and the same attribute. But that doesn't really matter, because that card is absolutely incredible anyway. You can special summon, let's see, target a Bannerful Armistice you control, special summon a Minerva, Sage of the Sky, and, Scholar of the Sky, beg your pardon, and a Valkyria, or a Minerva, or another Mill Tile, or something like that, or Minerva, or even a Guiding Ariadne if you want to. To special summon to use that card's effect off. For the next spell card we have in the main deck, this card is absolutely incredible. It is the Sanctum of the Parshath. This card is absolutely incredible because what it does is, you know, if you have any counter trap cards or fairy type monsters in your graveyard, you can literally target 3 counter trap cards and or fairy type monsters in your graveyard, return those targets to the deck. Plus, this card can be added from your deck to your hand by the effect of Sacred Arc and or Parshath. You're using its effect. When it inflicts battle damage, you get to add a Parshath card from your deck to your hand. That is why this card is so incredible. Only 2 copies of Potted Duality, because I feel running 2 copies of Potted Duality is enough, but it does interfere with Ties of the Brethren if you want to use it. But I encountered this card almost maybe one in every 3 games, I think. I'm not sure. That is it for the spell cards, guys. Now, starting off with the monsters real quick here. If I can find the other one. Okay, for the spell cards, for the monsters, we run 3 Power Angel Valkyria. If you negate this card can add you a fairy monster from your deck to your hand. It doesn't matter what kind of fairy it is, just as long as it is a light fairy type monster. That's if this effect goes off successfully. Sorry about the glare, but this is an absolutely powerful card. It's very incredible. I love it very much. The next one-off monster we have is 1 copy of Archlord Christia. If you're in a dire situation and you've got 4 fairies in your graveyard, you can just special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, neither player can special summon any monsters off of any card effect whatsoever. That's how amazing this card is. And once it is destroyed, it returns to your top of your deck, so you can use it over and over again. It doesn't really matter what your opponent does to this card. It's just going to go straight to the top of the deck, except by negate summon, of course. That's when you have to use it to Sanctum of the Parshath's effect. For the next one-off monster, we have 1 copy of Mill Tile, Sage of the Sky. This card is absolutely incredible. What it does is, if the Sanctuary in the Sky is faced on the field, not only do you gain 1,000 life points after you activate the effect of a counter trap card, you can also target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. That's how amazing that card is. Let me just sort monsters out by level. The next card I believe I only have 1 of in this deck is 1 Minerva, Scholar of the Sky. Minerva is absolutely incredible. If the Sanctuary in the Sky is face up and you activate this card's effect immediately after a counter trap card resolves, you can target 1 of the counter trap cards that wasn't the activated card and return it to your hand, which is absolutely amazing. It basically recycles and brings back a counter trap card you have activated probably in a previous turn, or maybe in the same turn you've activated a previous card of. The next card, this is our draw power of the deck. This is Bountiful Armistice. Along with Potted Duality, this card is like a, it's not a hard OPT, so once you resolve a counter trap card, you immediately draw 1 card regardless, and it's not a respondable card. The opponent can't really respond to it. Whoops. What? Blink. Okay. The next card we have, obviously 2 of, is Honest. Honest is at 3 in this meta, and quite frankly, you will always need Honest for this deck. It is a light deck based on light monsters and stuff like that. So when all monsters, when a fairy type monster you control is attacked, or a light monster you control is attacked, you can discard this card to the graveyard during the damage step. That monster gains that opponent's monster's attack. That's what makes this card absolutely incredible. It really protects you. For the next two cards, for the next three cards that we have, for the final five fairies, beg your pardon, we have 3 copies of Guardian Ariadne. Regardless, wherever this card is destroyed, if it was negated and it was destroyed, you can even Curse Seal the Forbidden Spell this card, you still get its effect when it is destroyed. That's what makes this card so incredibly powerful, is it selects 3 counter trap cards in your deck, your opponent picks one of them for you to add to your hand, and the rest are shuffled back into the deck. That's what makes that card so brilliant. So you can use that effect over and over when it is destroyed by battle or by card effect. The next two cards that are not fairies, but we have 2 copies of, is Luster Pendulum, the Blasting. I believe this is Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. Luster Pendulum has an awesome effect where you can target Guardian Ariadne in your other Pendulum zone, destroy it, and if you do, add another copy of the same card from your deck to your hand. And then you get Guardian Ariadne's effect. That's how this combo is pulled off very, very easily. And last but not least, the absolute gospel of all counter fairies. You guessed it. Sacred Arc Airknight Parshath. This card is absolutely broken. Not only does it inflict piercing damage, it is a Parshath card, so it's quite obvious. It inflicts piercing damage, and of course, literally wipes every monster out that has less than 3,100 attack. If you have whatever the Parshath monster or without an Honest in your hand, it wipes anything out, and regardless of what damage you inflict to your opponent, battle damage or piercing damage out of the 2, you can still add a counter trap card or Parshath card from your deck to your hand, which is absolutely incredible. That's why I love this card so much, because it allows you to search your deck constantly if you inflict battle damage. Now with that, guys, let's move on to the side deck. For the side deck, we have only 1 copy of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is not very useful at this time, but it's very good when it comes to negating a simple monster effect. Next, what's this? For the next monster, we obviously have the last Sacred Arc Airknight Parshath in the side deck, just as a added side card. We have the last Minerva in the side deck as well. You guys all know her effect very, very well. If your opponent has a very powerful monster on the field and you just want to get rid of it, you can just Kaiju over it and smack over it with a Arknight Parshath, and you get to add a counter trap card from your deck to your hand. Personally, I never main deck these cards because of their very, very powerful effects. They are incredibly broken. You can literally pop one of them in your main deck, which I'm going to do right now. Just pop one of them in the main deck. This side deck's only supposed to have 14 cards in it. I did have 3 copies, now I've got 2 copies of Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell in the side deck, 1 in the main deck, because I believe 1 in the main deck's enough. This card is absolutely broken when reused. It knocks out most of your opponent's engine, their search, their ability to special summon off of some field spell cards effect, their search ability, their draw power and stuff like that. That's what makes this card absolutely incredible. For the next counter traps, we have 2 copies of Dark Bribe. The only downside to this card really is your opponent drawing an extra card, but I don't believe that is really relevant, because you can just flip over a Drastic Drop Off and they must discard that card they just drew. For the spell cards, we have, wait a minute, one last trap we have is a normal trap by the name of Drowning Mirror Force. Drowning Mirror Force is pretty good when your opponent attacks you directly. Excuse me. They shuffle all of their monsters that are in attack position into the extra deck and main deck if they do attack. So it affects everything. It affects link monsters, you name it. All cards that except probably cards that are unaffected by spell and trap effects. I don't know why I sided this card, but 1 Terraforming in the side deck's probably enough. And the last spell card, the last 2 spell cards we have is obviously 1 Pot of Desires, just for that extra draw power by banishing top 10. And of course, Hall of the Fallen. And the absolute gospel of all countering towards very, very powerful monsters, such as Gokis, is Lava Golem. Okay, I get it. The card's 3000 attack. The opponent can just switch it into attack or link away with it. But they still have lost 2 monsters on their side of the field. So you never know when this card might come in real handy. So that is it for the deck profile, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And if you guys like this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And let's try to aim for about 1,000 likes in this video. If not, we could aim for at least 500. That would be absolutely appreciated. Please like this video. Check out my channel all over. If you like any of the videos you see, please hit the like button on those. I'll leave a link for the description on my Facebook and my Patreon in the description below. Please help my channel grow by visiting my Patreon page. And this is Spanish Evil Soul, signing out, guys.